Hello and welcome to the social media marketing update for the month of August. Lovely to have you all with us and hope you're having a great summer so far. As usual, we've got a packed out update today for you. If you've been enjoying our updates this year, then please do share them with your friends, colleagues, anyone else you know who works in content creation, social media marketing, or just generally marketing, who you think would get value out of our sessions. We really enjoy putting them together for you, and we hope that they're helping you as well. This month is another busy one in terms of social media news. So, we're going to start off with a bit of update on LinkedIn. I know many of you have been focusing on LinkedIn as your platform of choice this year, or are perhaps getting more of your employees to embrace LinkedIn as a platform to further spread brand awareness and trust. So, we've got some really important updates that have been happening on LinkedIn lately. Then we'll move on to Instagram. There's a few new features that we think are going to be game changers for the day-to-day practicalities of running a successful Instagram account. Then we're going to move over to Reddit. Reddit is absolutely having a moment as a social media platform this year, and I'll be talking to you about how they're really cracking down on AI slop. We've also got a couple of different studies that we wanted to point out to you, including the fact that posting is down, but screen time isn't, which is very interesting. And also why AI platforms cite different sources. So we'll look a little bit deeper into that report as well today. And then, as usual, we'll end with a few inspirational social media posts and trends that we've spotted out in the wild. Okay, let's get started. LinkedIn has just revealed some really useful tips in terms of posting. So, for both businesses and individuals, these are some best practice tips that will help you to create posts which the algorithm on LinkedIn enjoys. The first tip that they shared is that you should be aiming for 2 to 3 posts a week. I think that's a really good aim to have for consistency. Obviously, if you do more than that, then fantastic. Well done, you. But 2 to 3 times a week seems to be a good minimum amount in order to get visibility and build trust on the platform. One of the things that they've been sharing is that you should lead with the most important information in your posts. So that's really important in terms of getting those keywords right to the top of your post, but also to make your post more eye-catching. They've said that actually prioritizing educational value and actionable insights is a really good way to build followers on LinkedIn over any self promotion. Also, framing your post as a question and answer can really help. That's something I've been trialing a lot recently on my own LinkedIn, and it's certainly helped in terms of engagement. It gets people answering more, it gets more discussions going in your comments section. If you're stuck of what to say, then one thing that always works a treat is sharing timely insights. So, new reports that have come out, new studies, what's breaking in your industry, and then sharing your opinion of that. Maybe starting a conversation. Maybe there's something that you've identified that you think would work well as a bit of a conversation starter. And also summarizing longer content. So if a new report or study or white paper has just come out, can you summarize that? Can you put together some key points that you've taken away from that piece of content? LinkedIn is also saying to publish a mixture of posts and articles as well. Articles being those longer form, almost blog type updates that you can do on LinkedIn. And those articles are very much well loved by the LLMs as well. So if you want more AI visibility, then actually uploading article content can help you a lot there. They've also shared some really good tips on how you can use your URLs to be more visible within LLMs. So if you're looking to get more visibility in Claude or ChatGPT or Perplexity or Gemini, then actually thinking about the URLs of your individual posts is really important. These URLs will be automatically created by LinkedIn and they are used based on those first few keywords that you have in your post. So if you have a look at my post here, I recently posted, "Is this the end of the awareness day?" And you can see in the URL at the top of this screen grab, that's actually the keywords that LinkedIn has taken to form part of the URL. This now means if this question is asked in ChatGPT, for example, hopefully my post will have a lot of visibility there because it matches with the query that the user has also asked the LLM. So, what you should definitely be avoiding here is hashtags within the first line. In fact, personally, I don't think hashtags help at all on LinkedIn anymore. So, I would be avoiding them completely. Also, being mindful of what's in those first few words and making sure that it's something somebody would be searching for. For example, awareness days are a very popular approach in social media of hooking on to things like National Chocolate Day or National Burger Day as a way to talk about your product or services. And so I knew that talking about awareness days was going to have an interest to my audience of social media marketers. Always be mindful of file names as well. If you are uploading a PDF, document, carousel, or if you're uploading something to LinkedIn, make sure that that file name includes keywords and isn't just some scrambled mess of characters. And also understand that reshared posts aren't necessarily going to help you with that visibility. So if you see a post that somebody within your organization has done or something that you want to also talk about, it's actually best to upload your own version of that post rather than just resharing it. That's not going to have a meaningful impact on LinkedIn for kind of for a long time in terms of LLM visibility. So here's an example which I just shared to you. Also, bearing in mind that when you upload a PDF to LinkedIn, that is currently showing as the title of a carousel. So if you're using what we call document posts in LinkedIn, where you're uploading a PDF with a view to have a user scroll through those slides, the title of that PDF is really important because that's what it will display as in the feed as well. I've seen some people use like version one or report one here, which I think does, miss out on an opportunity to present exactly what you want to showcase in that carousel area. Now, later on this month, we are hosting a LinkedIn masterclass all about how to grow your company pages on LinkedIn. We're going to be looking at some effective B2B tactics in this 2-hour workshop. Everything about that workshop is on our website. So we're going to be looking at some of the newer tools like newsletters, events, lives, and where you can fully optimize your company page for visibility and, of course, for SEO as well. We'll also be talking about how to activate your employees. So we've seen some really important updates recently from brands like Starbucks, Waitrose, M&S, who've been enlisting their employees as trusted voices and using them for advocacy projects. So if you're interested in coming along to that workshop, then definitely take a look at the QR code here, or you could also have a look at our website where we've got all of our upcoming events. Now, this update has been a big one on LinkedIn over the last week. LinkedIn has introduced a new button to combat AI slop. So, some of you may be seeing this already. It seems like a lot of people are getting this on their phone first on the LinkedIn app. And this button, which is called the Seems Like AI Slop button, has begun to roll out so that users can now click on it on a post that they think appears to be generated by AI. Feedback gathered by the button will act as a signal to help LinkedIn work out how it's going to prioritize content in the feed and hopefully reduce the presence of low quality AI content in suggested feed recommendations. So it's really helping to combat heavy AI usage on the platform and helping writers to refine their work and make those trusted, authentic voices shine through even more. This is what one of the product managers at LinkedIn recently said. So AI slop is a top priority for LinkedIn at the moment. People want to connect with real people. We all want to hear real stories, real perspectives. We don't want to see AI synthetic generated discussion points on LinkedIn. They've been working hard on comments this year, so getting rid of any AI bots. They say they've blocked billions of automation attempts in the last couple of months alone, which I think is really interesting. They are now ramping up a series of new and improved classifiers that identify if a post is AI slop or generally low quality because they want to reduce the amount of AI slop that you're going to see. They have said that slop is hard to define and the definition is changing. I'm sure you all remember about a year ago, the key way of identifying if someone has used AI or not was the overuse of emojis. It was the overuse of the M dash, for example, that long dash that we used to see. But people have got smarter, AI tools have got better, and now it can be quite difficult sometimes to identify if something's AI slop or not. They've said for anyone who shares content, we will test a way to privately flag in your analytics dashboard when members feel that your post may have come off as inauthentic or heavy use of AI. So this basically means if lots of people are using that seems like AI slot button, you will get flagged privately about that. So I think that's a really good approach just to make sure that people are aware if, people aren't enjoying their posts or it sounds like synthetic content, then they can maybe work harder at getting that human angle across a little bit better. One thing that I thought was really interesting as well in this update was that they have actually removed the enhance your post feature, which when you're writing a post on LinkedIn, you used to see a little enhance with AI button, which would rewrite your post using AI to make it sound better. They've actually taken that feature away and replaced it with a feature that simply proofreads your update, but it doesn't change your voice. So I thought that was really interesting that they've kind of gone back on their approach here. I think a lot of platforms at the moment are really rethinking their approach to AI to make sure that social media just doesn't get flooded with a bunch of samey content. Now, talking of AI slop, which is definitely, it was the word of the year last year, but it's definitely become a phrase that a lot of people are much more aware of and are using a lot to call out other people's bad content. But what does it actually mean? Well, AI slop is low quality content generated by or created by generative AI, which often contains errors. It's often not requested by the user, so it's, missing the mark of what they potentially even wanted to create. A lot of people are lumping the two together. So a lot of people are just calling any AI slop. And there's a big conversation and panic happening at the moment around the use of AI in social media. We're certainly feeling that AI fatigue is real. Audiences are getting better at spotting AI content and they're rewarding brands that stay creative, human, and authentic. In fact, this is something that I posted about yesterday on LinkedIn about the overuse of AI posters generated using ChatGPT. And the post went viral overnight. So I think a lot of people are realizing that, yes, AI posters, AI generated text, like this example, they're just not well received anymore. And so we need to take this moment to try and move away from this kind of content. So this is the social media caption, which has just been created within Claude with barely any prompt. And you can see that all the signs of AI are there. The tone doesn't sound like us. It's over enthusiastic. There's lots of commonly used words and phrases by AI like game changer and unlock the power, which just isn't our tone of voice at all. There's lots of emojis, lots of hashtags, and lots of M dashes, those long dashes as well. Now, one key way that you can move away from this kind of content is actually to create a tone of voice document for your brand and upload that to your LLM. So in this case, we're heavy users of Claude. We've set up our tone of voice document as a skill in Claude. So this means that we can jump on our tone of voice and use our tone of voice across everything that we do in Claude just by asking it to use it. And we'll be covering this in a lot more detail at our Claude for Social Media Managers workshop, which is coming up in September, which I'll tell you about shortly. This is all such a hot topic at the moment because this week the EU has rolled out its AI Act. So, this is a new way in which the EU is requiring both companies and individuals to label their AI generated and AI modified content in order to meet their transparency requirements. So, what this basically means is under the new rules, chatbots and other interactive AI systems will have to tell users they're dealing with AI, not a human. Deep fakes, such as images, videos, and audio that have been edited or generated using AI, will have to be labeled. And AI generated or altered content will also have to carry machine readable marks so it can be detected more easily. So that has come into play this week in the EU. It looks like other countries are very likely to follow suit. So it's good practice to get into labeling any AI generated or AI modified content now by putting it into your caption. Just those words AI generated or AI modified will cover you because that's looking like it's likely to be global law at some point soon. Now, I mentioned that we are going to be running a Claude for Social Media Managers workshop, and this is happening on the 22nd of September. This is a workshop where we're going to be covering why you should be using Claude, why we prefer it to other LLM tools, and how to use it effectively for all of your social media processes behind the scenes. So, I'm not saying for writing captions, this is much more for brainstorming, planning, for things like research. Maybe even for help with templates in Canva. We're going to be talking about the Canva connector a lot as well. So if you haven't really dipped your toe into Claude yet, then I would really recommend coming along. And this is on the 22nd of September, 1 till 3 UK time. And as with everything that we do, it all gets recorded and distributed to anyone who signs up. Instagram now lets you replace the old post audio. Now, this is a brilliant Instagram update, which I'm really pleased about because I don't know if anyone remembers, but a couple of years ago, Meta fell out with, I think it was Universal or maybe, yeah, I think it was Universal, one of the big music labels. And actually, the music label removed all of its music off of Meta. So that meant like a lot of popular tracks like Harry Styles suddenly wasn't available in your audio. And all of those videos lost their audio track. So Instagram is now offering you a very useful update where you can now replace the audio on your post or carousels. And so if you change your mind about a music track, or if suddenly that music track isn't available anymore, you can actually swap it in for something else. So you can see that. I thought I'd muted this video, but no. So you essentially just tap on the post you'd like to change the audio on, tap the line menu button in the top right corner of the post, scroll to edit, and then swap the audio. So quite a small but a very useful update. This is also useful if you realize that you've used an audio track that isn't then available in an ad, but you want to boost the post or you want to use that post as an ad. So this is going to be really useful, particularly with partnership posts where you are promoting a piece of content that a content creator has published. If they've used an audio track that isn't available for commercial purposes, you could ask them to swap out that audio for something else that is commercially available, and then you're able to run that as an ad. So I think this is going to be a game changer. Instagram rolls out a series feature. So, very similar to TikTok, this is currently in testing. It looks like Instagram has been rolling out a series feature, which basically enables you to create lots of videos within one series, keep people coming back, keep people wanting more, or even retain your viewers. So, if somebody started watching episode one, they're then more likely to keep watching. And those will save very nicely onto your profile within their own little series tab, which you can see there along the top in the third screen grab. So I think this is definitely a nod to how all the major TV platforms like Netflix, Prime, Disney all work with their watch next buttons, even YouTube, which has been using this for years, where you've watched one video and you're suddenly on to the next one. This will be great for stringing together lots of themed content as well. And so I would definitely start thinking about what series you can begin to create. Definitely something that works really, really well. And you can see here, it could be time to start thinking about what your signature series could be and experimenting with it now. So here are some examples where you can see some of the brands like the Newt just have like quite a nice branded template called the Newt Minute here, which they just kind of keep coming back to. They don't necessarily say which episode it is. Whereas in other creators' profiles that we've spotted, they will actually say like episode 12, episode 13, or part 28, part 29. And so that's quite a useful way of just making sure people are coming back regularly. Really important to make sure that your thumbnail does promote that series as well. And it doesn't really necessarily matter how frequent that is as well. So the Newt Minute is a weekly reel, whereas some of these other examples are a bit more kind of ad hoc as and when they do appear. But lots of brands and creators are already using this technique of sharing series content. As you may know, we're big fans of Instagram's edits app at Avocado Social, and we use it a lot in terms of creating content, not just for Instagram, but for TikTok and YouTube Shorts as well. One of the best new updates from Edits is that you can export a project directly to stories. So previously you had to download it and then upload it in Instagram, which makes sharing a bit more difficult, takes a bit more time. But now you can just share that straight away to stories, which I think is a really nice update. So you can now post to Instagram Reels, post to stories, and post to Facebook. If you wanted to post that across to TikTok or YouTube Shorts, you would just download it and then upload that from your camera roll. So it makes it nice and easy. If you're not using Edits already, then I would really strongly recommend downloading it. It's currently free. You've got hundreds of fonts, effects, audio tools on there. It's just that step up from using Instagram editing within the app itself. So they're always including updates. Like every month, they have a bunch of new updates. So these are just some of the more recent ones. You can filter audio searches based on vibes like chill or interests like fashion or travel. So it's just helping you find the right audio very, very quickly. You can also adjust a layer for effects by giving every clip the same look at once. So you can add a video effect as an adjustment layer and then it applies across your whole timeline. So just a bit less fiddling with each individual clip. And then also audio tools. So all the audio tools are now bunched together into one separate folder where you can change the volume, you can enhance the audio, you can fade it all in the same spot within edits now. So just some really easy ways of using the tool. Now, they have promised that edits will be free for the time being, but I am pretty sure that at some point they will begin to monetize it. So if you're thinking about using a editing app, then I really do rate edits. I think it's a great one, but just be aware that at some point they may well make this a paid for tool. So this year we've been investigating a lot more about Reddit because we've been getting so many requests as to whether Reddit is a worthwhile platform to be on as a business in 2026. And one of the things that really makes Reddit interesting is just how powerful it is for SEO and GEO as well. It does get great visibility within Google, and also, they've got a growing user base who are using Reddit as a platform to go to operate searches and research products or venues. So it's certainly worth doing your due diligence and seeing whether your brand is being mentioned on Reddit anyway at the moment. One of the things that we're very pleased to hear is that Reddit is also too cracking down on AI slop. This seems to be a big trend. And so they are tackling AI slop by deploying, well, large language models, LLMs, to identify subtle coordinated patterns of fake behavior, artificial hype, and bot content. So they're actually using AI to find AI and to target AI spam. So they're analyzing the content in which is being posted, and they're also analyzing account creation signals. So if somebody has just set up an account and then they've started posting loads of suspicious content, then they're going to get flagged. Also, automated accounts exhibiting suspicious activity are flagged and required to verify their humanity. So, I was doing some Redditing yesterday and I was asked to identify myself via a government document or just to take a selfie to prove that I was over 18. So I wondered whether that was because maybe I hadn't used the profile that I was using for a little bit of time. So maybe it was flagging me as suspicious. So I think it seems like they're doing like a lot of these automated checks for humanity just to ensure that they are targeting a lot of this bot content. So they've got a lot of systems on the go. They've said that 23 million spam views were blocked daily before reaching human users. They're also catching around 25,000 spammy posts and comments every day, and nearly 2 million inauthentic votes revoked daily to stop artificial engagement manipulation. So it seems like their anti-slot measures are pretty on it. And it seems like that's a really good approach, as well as asking the community to potentially flag that, as we saw with LinkedIn earlier. So, this definitely seems like a priority for a lot of social media platforms at the moment to defend themselves against AI slop. Interesting that we haven't really seen much come out from Meta yet. So, yeah, keen to hear what their approaches are for AI slop because particularly on Facebook, the Reels content can be incredibly AI slop themed as well. Okay, so a new report has come out from a company called Incogni, where they have actually shared that people are posting less than they did 5 years ago and are really limiting their connections. You can see here that post frequency change over 5 years is resounding yes, people are posting less. And also, um, respondents are being more selective about their content as well. So 55% of respondents are posting less online than they did 5 years ago, and 53% have become more selective. I would say that definitely echoes like a lot of what I'm hearing in social media training workshops and a lot of what I'm reading in other reports as well. Users are sharing much more in private group messages. But that doesn't mean that people are using social media less. In fact, time spent on social media is up. So actual usage time has increased. Meta reports that time spent on Facebook and Instagram has risen in recent years, largely driven by algorithms automatically inserting more short form video entertainment content into their feeds. This highlights that while people are actively stepping back from the social and posting aspects of these apps, they're consuming more content passively. And this absolutely echoes what some social media commentators like Gary Vee have said, that maybe we shouldn't call it social media anymore. Maybe it's interest media, because we're all just following entertainment and interesting videos about what we're interested in rather than actually being social with other people publicly. That being said, we can still be very social in private group messages. You might be sending some of your mates memes all the time, but it's certainly changed from how we used it 5 years ago. Um, this is interesting. Over half of respondents feel that maintaining a social media presence feels like work, with that figure rising to 60% among Gen Z as well. Nearly half of survey respondents have deleted a social media or messaging app due to stress or anxiety. That's led by millennials and then by Gen Z. But as we said, screen time on the whole is up. And that's largely down to more short form video content. Finally, this one's interesting around emotions experienced when not checking messaging apps for an extended period of time. So a lot of people are reporting that they actually, gain peace from not checking messages. And relaxation has come up a lot. But I think that's really tapping into that kind of trend of unplugging or taking digital detoxes regularly. And particularly if you work in social media, it is important to make sure that you have got elements of screen-free time as part of your week. And I think that as a trend in itself is becoming more and more apparent, where people are maybe putting their phone away on a Friday night and not getting it out again until Sunday, or perhaps they're going for more digital detox breaks where there's like a camping company or a glamping company called Unplugged, where you actually lock your phone away in a drawer for the weekend as well. So really interesting to see those kind of different approaches of moving away from being glued to your phone, which I think is something that we're all very conscious of. Why AI platforms cite different sources. So we thought we'd end today's update with a little bit of a guidance around how AI is referencing and citing lots of different websites. You can see that social, according to this new report, the CMO's AEO guide, we can see that sorry, this is from a company called Profound. Profound recently shared this report where they analyzed thousands of brand recommendations across 6 AI platforms to analyze the factors that influence brand visibility. And they found that social is a large share of AI citations, particularly on Google. So you can see the Google AI overviews and the Google AI mode both reference social media posts and UGC a lot in their content. ChatGPT, also the same, then followed by Perplexity, Gemini, and Copilot. So I think that's really interesting to see that Google is kind of embracing social media heavily as references for its AI answers, particularly those overviews. But which social media sites are they referencing? Well, you can see here that YouTube is a big one, of course, for Google, who own YouTube. So that makes sense that they're incorporating their own platforms information. ChatGPT uses Reddit a lot as well as a place to kind of pull information from. So, really important if you are thinking about your Reddit strategy. You can see also LinkedIn perhaps isn't used as heavily as you might think, but of course it's referenced a lot within Copilot because Microsoft owns LinkedIn. So it definitely seems like they're all favoring their own platforms there. And then Instagram kind of slightly less there, and TikTok a lot less. So really YouTube and Reddit seem to be the two which are very important for these LLMs. And then reviews as well. Of course, reviews being anything across any review website. I'm not exactly sure which review websites they're referencing here, but if you're interested in taking a look at that report, that's Profound's new CMO's AEO guide. Let's now take a look at some eye-catching campaigns and trends that we've spotted across social media. Starting with the bold text, which is everywhere right now. Bold text on top of an image or a video, especially if that text is in butter yellow, seems to be the trend of the summer. So, this is what we've been seeing a lot recently on Instagram and TikTok. So, any kind of quick video content, but then putting some bold text on top of it, a relatable statement. Maybe you mentioned that you're kind of chic, which again is a trend, like mentioning kind of chic. Seems to be something that a lot of people are doing, and also WTF is not. Um, so those are two kind of phrases that are being used a lot in those overlaid text on top of an image or video. We also really like this post from the National Trust this week, which was a nice pause from a fast-paced feed. So very nice update there from the National Trust team. Now, I mentioned earlier that there's a lot of anti-AI chats going on across social media. This video in particular, shared by a graphic designer, talks about anti-AI posters. Let's take a look. So I actually posted yesterday on LinkedIn about AI posters, and the post has been seen by like 15,000 times or something in the last 24 hours. So it's definitely a topic that has got a lot of people talking. And essentially what I shared was that I think we need to be moving away from these chat GPT generated posters now because they're just so samey and they're not unique and people are getting bored of them. There's a lot of fatigue for them. So if you have been using ChatGPT to generate posters, then I would definitely recommend not doing that because consumers are wisening up. Now, in a second, I am going to open the floor to any questions that you might have. So anything that's kind of crossed your mind today that you would like to ask, you're very, very welcome to. But before I do that, let me just tell you a little bit about our current offer that we have on. So we are currently offering a discounted rate on our social media membership. Our Avocado social membership offers one-to-one calls with myself. So you get one a month where we can talk about your social media strategy, or I can live demo some tools, give you a bit of guidance or audit your channels. You also get an in-depth review of your strategy. So we'll take a look at that and really help you to maximize on what you're doing this year. You also get the opportunity to ask any questions on email at any time in the month. And you'll also get access to all of our workshops. So all of our upcoming workshops for the rest of the year are here. So if you want to access those or if you want to watch the recordings of them, you absolutely can do as part of your membership. So if you're interested in our membership, then you can find out much more by scanning the QR code here or just Googling Avocado Social Membership. There's some other benefits too. So we are running a private WhatsApp community where we send a weekly update of the top news stories you need to know. You can also get access to all of our previous recordings from our workshops and also the slides as well. So there's lots of benefits to really help you stay on top of the ever-changing world of social media. At the moment, you can get a core membership, which is for 12 months for just 495 for one person. That gets you access to everything apart from the calls with me. If you would like the calls with me every month as well, that's our premium membership. That's £2,400 for 12 months. So if you are interested in that for you or your team, then please do give us a shout. As I said, at the moment, we've got a limited time offer on for our core membership where you get access to all of our training, but not the call with me. And that's just £300 for one person. So if you want to come to all of that training and get access to all of the recordings from the rest of the ones we've done this year, then that's just £300 until the end of August. So do let me know if you're interested. You can, of course, contact me at any time if you've got any questions. Here's my email, our website, and social media, of course. Give us a shout on LinkedIn or Instagram or TikTok. We'd love to hear from you. And if you've enjoyed today's session, then please don't hesitate to leave us a review as well, as we saw earlier. So important for LLMs, SEO, and also just generally businesses in 2026. So we'd love to hear your thoughts on today's update.